Boyle's law. Boyle's law is named after a physicist, Robert Boyle, who discovered the relationship between pressure and volume of a liquid. And Boyle's law says that pressure times the volume is equal to a constant. In other words, pressure and volume are inversely proportional to each other at all times. Another way this could be written would be that P is equal to C over V, if you're more familiar with inverse proportion laws. So what this is saying is, so let's take an example. Let's say that we have a pressure of 25 pascals. Pascals is the unit for pressure, and a volume of 5 liters, and that's equal to 125. So our constant in this case, C, is equal to 125. The constant changes, but we know that it always stays constant. So in this case, if our pressure drops to, say, 10, well, then we have 10 times our volume is equal, we know it's equal to 125. Now, if we use algebraic rules, we can divide both sides by 10, our 10s cancel, and we can figure out that our volume is equal to 12.5 liters instead of 5. So we see that increase in volume when our pressure decreased. That can be depicted over here in this image here. We have our initial one. So in this case, we have a high pressure. This is 25 pascals. And over here, our pressure dropped, but our volume increased significantly. So that's an overview of Boyle's law. Now, to use that in an example, we have an example down here. A 2-liter balloon has a pressure of 101.5 kilopascals. When the pressure increases to 1,015 kilopascals, what is the volume? So we have a P1, we have our pressure 1 is equal to 101.5. Our P2 is equal to 101.5, so 1,015. Our volume 1 is equal to 2.0, and our volume 2 is what we don't know. So that's what we're shooting for, to figure out our second volume. So I'm going to get some of this out of the way and we'll work it right here. Now there's two ways we could work this. We could work this from this first one, the P1 and V1, and solve for C. Or because we know that they equal the same constant, we can actually take P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. And what happens, because we know what we're looking for, our second volume. So what we can do here is we can actually divide. We can solve this before we plug in any of our numbers. And our P2 cancels, so V2 is equal to P1 V1 over P2. And we plug in our numbers there, and we get 1015 times 2 over 1015. Now, when we do all our solving, we get that volume 2 is equal to 0.2 liters. So we had a decrease in our volume to 0.2 liters. And that is Boyle's law.